All right, what's up, YouTube Nation? I am back. Today is a special YouTube video today, and today's video discussion is called um, the street hoes, having sex with street hoes versus the good hoe. Now you might say, Alex, why would you call the title of this video having sex with street hoes versus the good hoe? Because there's a discussion here on YouTube that doesn't get talked about as much, so I want to take my stab at it, if you will. Now, a lot of women on YouTube have been asking this question for the last 6 or 7 or 8 years: where has all the good men gone? Well, ladies, they're where you put them: high school, college. That's where they are. But to be more serious and to actually come in here and actually explain something, I'll go ahead and I'll really classify what I mean when I say that. Basically, a lot of the men that you rejected for so many years are getting revenge on you because of the ignorance and stupidity of unrealistic expectations. Now, you might ask me, who are the street hoes? Now, if you've seen my older YouTube videos, part 1 and part 2 of how to spot an undercover freak, part 1 and part 2, I told you how to spot women who are freaks. Now I'm here to tell you that there's the street hoes and then there's the good hoe. Now, the good hoe is a girl that always talks about the Lord. Oh yes, I gotta talk about it in this video. See, when women be talking about you need to go to church and you need to praise the word of God, and you hear God 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, it becomes very irritating and very frustrating when a black woman or a Latino woman starts talking about God a lot. That's when most heterosexual men get angry and frustrated, because a lot of us, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You know, there was this black woman that I met about maybe 4 years ago, a little over 3 to 4 years ago, in her late 30s. Now she's in her 40s, and she started doing that God is great. And I started looking at her like, don't be saying God every 5 to 10 minutes in a sentence. And she would keep doing it. And you see, a lot of the good women, aka the good hoe, they're always bitching and complaining about, I can't find a good man. Well, the reason why you can't find a good man is because in high school and college, you never wanted him. You was always chasing the basketball players, the football players, the baseball players. You were trying to get next to the rap superstar. You know, you look at all these reality television shows, right? And the good girl says, well, them men like ratchet women. They're like them hood rat hoes off of TV. Like, you watch TV shows like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop New York, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, and Love and Hip Hop Miami. And let's not forget, there was the bad girls that ran for 10, 11, 12, 13 bloody ridiculous seasons. And then let's not forget, there's TV shows like Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's not forget there was Basketball Wives, there was Football Wives, and all those other reality television shows. And then there's Keeping Up with the Kardashians that's been on for like forever. And those men find those women very physically and sexually attractive because they are still women. You know, these women, they like the reason why men love to have sex with the street hoes is because they find them physically, sexually attractive. They like to have fun. You can take those women out to lunch and dinner and have a conversation about virtually anything, good or bad. The good girl, aka the good hoe, all she want to talk about is 2 things: my job and the Lord. And when those are the only 2 times you can have a conversation with good girls, it gets boring very fast and very quick. And then they have all these unrealistic expectations. unrealistic expectations, such as you gotta have a house, a car, a job, you gotta go to Bible study, you gotta preach the word of God. And a lot of men be looking at these women like they've lost their mind. Hold on, YouTube Nation. Hold on, let me get some light in here. There we go. And you be looking at these women like, so let me get this straight. I gotta have a house, a car, and a job, and go to Bible study and preach the word of God, order to satisfy you, so I can hit that ass, so I can take the panties down and hit that ass. And the good girl, aka the good hoe, she gonna make you wait 6 months to a year to hit that ass. But during that 6-month period, or 6 months to a year, she's messed around and smashed, or should I say got smashed by basketball players, football players, baseball players, bodybuilders, weightlifters, guys that do boxing, guys that are actors in television and film that's rich and famous. She be the one trying to mess with the film director or film producer or the music producer. This is the good girl. Now, the best way to tell a good girl from a street hoe is that your typical street hoes, they be having the hoochie mama fingernails, the weave in their hair, the lipstick, the makeup. A lot of them have big ass titties and a big butt. And a lot of them have the tattoos and the body piercings. And they be wearing the skanky outfits. That's the street hoes. So they don't hide their personality. They don't hide who they really are. The good girl is a hypocrite, because the good girl doesn't have no tattoos. She don't have no body piercings. She don't smoke. She don't drink. She don't do drugs. But she does love to show off her ass. She does love to show off her breasts. And the minute you start looking, she look at you like, please don't sexually objectify me. And there was a story, I can tell y'all a story that a long time ago when I was at Los Angeles City College, there was this black girl that I did find physically and sexually attractive. She was about 5'6", 5'7". She was about 110 pounds. Nice athletic body. You could tell she go to the gym, she work out, she do cardio, she tighten up her body, and she had that banging ass and nice firm titties, and she looked good for a dark chocolate black woman. And I would be looking at that ass a lot. And she basically felt that I was sexually objectifying her. Now you gotta remember, this is college. It took 5 years for this black woman to notice I exist. It took 5 years for this black woman to notice I exist as a person. And it wasn't until I showed that I had some charisma and some wits and some charm that she found me physically and sexually attractive. Now, when I went and tried to go become a janitor, when I took specialized training to become a janitor, girls that were from Compton, South Central, and Compton, these women immediately paid attention to me. Immediately. And I had this girl that was brown skinned, wearing some tight ass booty shorts, and she would bend over and do the signal of doggy dog style. Like she wanted to be banged doggy dog style. Then there was a dark chocolate black girl that was in the elevator, and she stuck her tongue out and did the freak association. Like, I want some DICK. And for out of nowhere, this came out of nowhere in the conversation. She straight out told me that her boyfriend failed to satisfy her, and she wants someone to satisfy her sexually. She even, showed me her titties, that she weren't wearing no pants and no bra. That's the street hoe. Now, Jay-Z did make a rap song about 12 or 13 years ago telling you what's the difference between a street hoe and then the good hoe. The street hoe give up the booty real fast, real quick, just like that. The good girl, aka the good hoe, she gonna wait 6 months to a year to give up the ass. So you're gonna be waiting for 6 months to a whole year for the good girl to give up the ass. Now, the good girl is a hypocrite because she be dating criminals, she be dating thugs, gangbangers, crips, bloods, or if she's Latino, she date them essays. And then she has the ignorance and the audacity to bitch and complain 10 or 15 years later when she wants to settle down and have a family with the guy that she rejected 15, 20 times in high school and in college. And then she has the audacity to say, oh, you want them hood rats, you want them hoochie mamas. Well, you already set a bad example for men when you say it's okay to date criminals. So if a good guy dates a hoochie mama, it's because he doesn't have that many options or that many choices left for him to pick from. So when he finally gets money, looks, and status, and he can date any type of woman he wants, 99.99% of the time, it just so happened to be he's gonna try to mess with the women that he saw in high school and in college. And look at Russell Wilson as a prime example of this. He's a professional football player, NFL football player, who's gone to the Super Bowl twice. He won his first championship. He had a chance to win back-to-back Super Bowls, but you know what happened in the second Super Bowl. The Patriots whooped that ass, and he lost his first Super Bowl. So he won his first Super Bowl, and then he turns around a year later and goes back and has a chance to win 2 championships, 2 Super Bowls in a row, but loses his second Super Bowl. And he's dating Sierra, right? And everyone keeps calling Sierra a hoe, right? They keep calling her the street hoe. Well, he finds her physically, sexually attractive because typically most nerds that read comic books, that play video games, and loves anime, 9 times out of 10, they usually find the woman that's got the hoochie mama fingernails and the big butt and the big titties that's light-skinned more physically and more sexually attractive than the female who has a house, has a car, has a job, and goes to church. See, the girl that goes to church is boring as hell. She has a boring personality. You know how women say they don't like nerds, they don't like geeks? Well, it's the same thing with women. A lot of the women that are nerds, well, not all women, I would say about a very good 40% of women that are nerds, that are geeks, they do turn into the hoe. And when they turn into the hoe, the men find them more physically, more sexually attractive. And then these women complain because the man trying to date him a hoochie mama, or he trying to get a blowjob from a hoochie mama, and they want him to have some class about himself. But why would a man have class about himself if his female counterpart doesn't have no class about herself? See, it's a two-way street. It ain't just, oh, it's okay for women to do and it's not okay for men to do. It's a two-way street. And when women ask the most stupidest, most ignorant question on the planet Earth, where all the good men have gone, they're right where you left them in high school and in college. And when these guys get rich and famous and they get money, looks, and status, 99.99% of the time they're going to date the street hoe. You can take the street hoe to the basketball games, the football games, a rock concert, or a rap concert because she loves to have fun. The good girl, the good girl, aka the good hoe, you can't take her nowhere and have fun because she either gonna want to go to her parents' house or she gonna want to go to church and talk about the Lord. And women who talk about the Lord, you notice they never have sex with men because they're always having these unrealistic standards, these unrealistic expectations. And then when these men get rich and famous and they encounter women like Sierra, Melissa Ford, they encounter someone like Carly Red from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, or Mimi Faust, when they encounter black women like that, they find those women more physically and more sexually attractive because they have colorful personalities. And then you see the feminist propaganda that Me Too. That Me Too is actually about women who are quote unquote good, aka the good girl, good girl, aka the good hoe, is mad and jealous because a lot of the alpha males are not even taking them out to lunch and dinner and going after women that is supposed to be bad for you, right? Like, look at Marilyn Monroe. That's a perfect example. Everyone knows that Marilyn Monroe was a prostitute before she became an actress in Hollywood. If you know your Hollywood history and you go into a time machine back to 40 years ago, you would know that half of those women that you see in the movies of the glory days of Hollywood, a lot of those actresses were prostitutes. And men found those women physically, sexually attractive. So what they did in today's society was say, if you're messing with women who are very highly attractive, they will shame you by saying, that's a hoe, right? That's a prostitute, right? And want you to date a woman of class. Well, a lot of women of class from church are also hoes. So that's a contradiction, and that's being very hypocritical. Just so you know that. So when women be asking why men want to have sex with hoes, it's because they find them very physically and sexually attractive. They see the ass, they see the titties, they see them big thighs, them long legs, that cute face, and they always make it seem like that brothers love the light-skinned hoes. Yes, we do like them light-skinned hoes, but when you think about this Me Too movement, it's female versus female. It ain't man versus woman. It's woman versus woman. And you're seeing this because of the fact that one group of people feel like we're being ignored. We're being passed over. But the good girl likes to date criminals. She likes to date the gangbanger, the thug. Now, the girl that's called the street hoe, you ever wonder why you see a street hoe messing with a guy that's a nerd? You ever ask yourself how that ever transpires? It transpires because he doesn't have that many options and that many choices. Now, a nerd wants to date a female that's a nerd himself, but a lot of times the girl that's a nerd turns into the hoe. And then the girl that's already a hoe goes to the guy that's a nerd. And the nerd end up with a girl that's actually a hoe. Now, I'm not saying that happens all the time, but I'm saying you have a special case where that does take place. It can happen in high school, college, workplace. It can happen at any place, anytime, anywhere. So this is only part one of the video. And of course, before anyone asks me who does the best sex, hands down, the street hoes give out the best sex. That's why these men go to porn conventions, strip clubs, and golf clubs. Oh yeah, a lot of the girls that have class hate golf girls because the golf girl knows how to please a man. Why the girl who's in church talking about the Lord, she has a boring ass personality. That's just like if a supermodel date a nerd. Do you think a supermodel wants to be with a nerd that's boring and has no personality? Hell no, right? So most of us heterosexual men do not want black women and Latino women talking about God too much. When women talk about God too much, that lets us know that these women have what they call a psychological problem. It's one thing to talk about God in church on a Sunday, but when you talk about God 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and that's all you talk about, you ain't gonna get no man asking you out to lunch and dinner. You ain't gonna have no man giving you what I like to call the Hollywood treatment, where the brother gets on his hands and knees and eats your homemade apple pie. You ain't gonna get that because you talk about the Lord too much. And no heterosexual man, whether it's a white man, a black man, or a Latino man, or an Asian man, we don't want to hear that 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. When women do that, there's something wrong with them psychologically. They talk about it too much. And then they wonder why they get cheated on and a man go to a strip club and have sex with strippers, or he messes with a porn actress, or he messes with a girl that has a reputation for being a hoe. Because you drive the man crazy with the Lord and all these unrealistic expectations. And if you want a man to stop dating those types of females, You got to stop talking about the Lord 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, or this trend will continue. See, when people complain about Russell Wilson, the football player, messing with Sierra, that's just one case. That's going to continue to happen. And it's going to continue until either somebody changes the way they do things or it's just going to continue. It's going to be a continuing cycle. You got basketball and football players that mess with the women from off those reality TV shows. Just watch TV shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Love and Hip Hop New York, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop Miami, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, and let's not forget Black Ink. You know, Black Ink Chicago. Let's not forget these TV shows. There's a reason why men mess with those skanks because they find those women physically and sexually attractive. And then sometimes they marry these females, like Russell Wilson. He's getting a lot of hatred because you're messing with Sierra. Now, Russell Wilson was originally going to marry a white woman who had a house, a car, and a job. And for all we may know, she could have been talking about the Lord, and he probably got tired of that mess. I'm just telling you what I think happened. Because there is an explanation on why you do something, and then people go, why'd you do something crazy and extreme? So this is only part one of the video, and in the future I'll make a part two. And I want to save this because I want to do the Black Panther movie review and then give you the next video called Australian Women Having Sex with Black Men. So stay tuned for those two videos. Peace.